President Trump saying today no one survived a mid-air collision between an American Airlines plane and a Black Hawk helicopter. We now know 67 people were on both of those aircraft. The American Airlines flight was getting ready to land after flying in from Wichita, Kansas. Officials also revealing the helicopter was on a training flight and the crew on board was, quote, very experienced with the route. The investigation into what happened and why is underway, but the FAA is now saying air traffic control was understaffed. And now we are getting a new look at the timeline of how this tragedy played out.
Yes, right here on the big board, we can tell you the American Airlines flight taking off from Wichita at 5:18 Central Time. At 8:15 Eastern, it begins its descent. Now, 33 minutes later, the flight then collides with the Black Hawk and plummets into the Potomac River.
And just 10 minutes after the crash, rescue crews began the frantic search for survivors. By 10 p.m., the FAA and the NTSB began their investigation. And then early this morning, the news many feared was announced. There were no survivors. This afternoon, a full-scale investigation is underway.
The question was, is there been human error or mechanical failure? We don't know what we know just yet. We do not know enough facts to be able to rule in or out human factor, mechanical factors.
The crash, obviously nothing short of a tragedy, but of course now it's all about the questions surrounding safety.
So this afternoon we're getting new insight into how commercial flights and airports in general work. Oliver Brown is an aviation expert and he joins us now.
Oliver, a preliminary report from the FAA says the staffing at the air traffic control tower at Reagan was, quote, not normal. The internal report said there was one person handling both the helicopters and commercial planes. Typically, do two different or more controllers, are they needed for that job?
Yes, in that area, they normally have the duties divided. And honestly, it has been quite known throughout the United States that most facilities have been undermanned since about 2010. There was a big push, I believe, under Obama and under the Trump first administration to try to fill these positions, but it takes such a long time to get people trained up for those positions before they can work them live. So it's not surprising that, in fact, one person was happening to do two people's job at that time.
Oliver, the NTSB spoke a few hours ago. They didn't say much, but they did say they have a lot of work ahead of them. But in any plane crash, of course, the black box flight recorders are so important. What What exactly do those reveal?
Well, you're going to have one that records all the flight data, which is going to be the position of the controls. It's going to, what was the setting of the flaps? Was the gear down? Was the gear up? It's going to collect all that type of data. Then you're going to have the CDR, which is going to be the cockpit voice recorder, which takes in about 5 different points. It records every little noise that happened in the cockpit. You'll hear the conversation between both the pilot, co-pilot, and the actual overall ambient noise within the cockpit, that they can get a full picture of what was happening at the time. They should have been already located where those boxes are. They have a pinger on them that sends off a signal so that they can quickly find them. Although this was a high-speed crash, those boxes are made to take up to several G impacts. So I'm pretty sure they will be able to recover the data to find out what was going on from the airline's perspective.
Let's stick with technology here. I imagine these Black Hawk helicopters are equipped with such sophisticated equipment and safeguards. Are there systems on board that could have warned them of what was coming?
It depends on the make and model and the year of the Black Hawk. The military has some older aircraft that aren't as updated. There were some requirements by the FAA to update some of our traffic alert systems for all aircraft. I don't know if the FAA mandated the military to actually follow the same standard. So it's very possible that they could have still been on the see and look out principle and made a mistake. It sounds from the initial audio that they thought that they had the aircraft in sight, and then moments later they impacted. So, flying at night, all the little twinkling lights that a city normally gives, it's very easy to think that you have the right thing in sight, i.e. aircraft, and then you're really looking at something else, and what you should have been looking at is right in front of you. And that seems like that's may have what happened. So I believe both crews were very qualified. This is just a very unfortunate accident. And it's right place, wrong time. Um, my hearts and my thoughts and prayers go out with the families.
Certainly a good place to end. Oliver Brown, thank you so much for your insight and being with us here on KHO 11 News.